Hello everyone. Today is Valentine's Day, the day of love. But amidst the hustle and bustle of work, CEO James suddenly realizes this special day. He rushes to buy a gift for Diep. But when he arrives at her house, she's not there. It turns out that Diep, as always, is diligently working in the fields, completely unaware of everything happening around her. Meanwhile, an unexpected twist unfolds. Min decides to take over the family business, not just out of responsibility, but also because of Diep. What will happen to this love story? Who will truly win Diep's heart? Stay tuned for this video to find out. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next episodes. We see the relationship between CEO James and Diep. Particularly James's concern for Diep despite his busy work schedule. At the beginning, CEO James calls Tuan for help in finding a lawyer. But at that moment, he suddenly realizes that today is Valentine's Day, a day he had completely forgotten. Fully immersed in his work, when he becomes aware of this, guilt washes over him regarding Diep, the woman he loves. His regret is evident when he blames himself, saying, "Maybe I've been too focused on work and forgotten about Diep." This statement shows his remorse and his decision to surprise Diep as a way to make up for his lack of attention. However, James is not good at expressing emotions through actions, which is reflected in his clumsiness while preparing a gift. Despite being a strong CEO, he lacks finesse in expressing his feelings. Next, we see Diep, who appears in the conversation. She is completely unaware that James has visited her house, as she remains busy working in the fields. This showcases her diligence and dedication, but it also highlights that Diep is not paying much attention to James seeking her. She is somewhat surprised when she answers his call and learns that he had come to see her. Her response on the phone is straightforward and gentle. "Did you call me for something?" This line shows that Diep is entirely focused on her work, not overly concerned about the relationship, and it also reflects her sincerity and openness in talking to James. Although James tries to show his care and make up for his neglect, Diep does not pay much attention and continues working. She does not demand his attention, and her dedication to her work further emphasizes the lack of connection between them. One side wants to express affection, while the other remains engrossed in work. This situation is interesting. James wants to create a romantic gesture, but in reality, Diep does not notice because she is still busy in the fields. It reflects the differences in how they approach love. James wants to show his feelings through actions, while Diep does not recognize them because she is too focused on her responsibilities and may not yet be ready to receive that attention. In conclusion, this is a complex situation where love and work intertwine. James, despite his strong emotions, struggles to express them, while Diep is so immersed in her work that she does not realize his concern. Both seem to lack the necessary connection for their relationship to progress. We witness another side of CEO James. He is not just a busy executive but also a man with deep emotions and a special devotion to Diep. First, when James decides to surprise Diep, he does not hesitate to clean the yard and help with household chores that she usually handles on her own. This reflects his dedication and appreciation for Diep. He wants to make up for the times when he was too busy to be by her side. Lines like, "It seems she has already watered this area," or, "I wonder if she has fed the chickens yet," show his meticulous attention to the small details of Diep's daily routine. These gestures not only express his love but also reveal his growing affection for her. However, as James cleans and worries about the gift for Diep, his mind drifts back to the words of his rival, John. John had said, "I want your family to pay the price, and ask your father." These statements weigh heavily on James, making it impossible for him to completely set aside his concerns about work and the looming threats against his family. Even as he tries to focus on surprising Diep, this internal conflict between work and love becomes increasingly apparent in his thoughts. Meanwhile, Diep is absent, working hard as she does every day. James takes care of the yard, does her chores, and hopes that when she returns, she will be happy and surprised. His words, "She will probably be very happy," reflect his excitement and satisfaction at the thought of making her day special. At this moment, a call from Tuan further highlights how James is still maintaining his responsibilities at work. Despite his efforts to make time for Diep, when Tuan informs him that he has arranged a meeting with a lawyer, James does not forget to express his gratitude. However, his mind continues to be occupied with thoughts of Diep and his carefully planned surprise. James's expressions throughout this scene reveal the complexity of his emotions. Although he deeply loves Diep and wants to care for her, he is also burdened by pressures from work and his rival's threats. In the end, as he prepares to leave and instructs Hockey to guard the house, his apology subtly reveals his guilt for not visiting Diep more often. He hopes she will understand and that his gift will bring her happiness. This situation illustrates the delicate balance between love and work in James and Diep's relationship. James is making efforts to express his love and care, yet he cannot completely escape his responsibilities and concerns. Although his work sometimes pulls him away from Diep, his devotion and appreciation remain evident through his actions and the thoughtful gift he has prepared for her. Diep continues her work of harvesting and selling pumpkins at the market. Through simple phrases like, "Can I borrow your scale?" or "Sis, would you like to buy some pumpkins?" we see that Diep is hardworking, patient, and very friendly while working. She proactively communicates with customers, confidently promotes her products, and even generously offers an extra kilogram of pumpkin to an older man without expecting any payment. This demonstrates Diep's kind and compassionate nature. Her joy and happiness when selling pumpkins are clear. She feels supported by those around her. And the question, "Are you making enough money to get by?" from the older man subtly shows that Diep is trying to earn a living honestly. Diep feels content knowing she is healthy and can take care of herself. Even though the work is tough, she continues to push forward for her family and herself. However, the warning from the older man stands out as an important moment in this scene. When he advises Diep to stay away from James, we can sense concern, even a warning from someone who may be viewed as a trusted figure in Diep's life. His words are urgent and filled with doubt. "He's not as good as you think." Diep listens with surprise and confusion. "Why would you say that about James?" This shows that Diep is torn between her feelings for James and the advice of the older man, caught between her emotions and the cautionary words of someone she might respect. Meanwhile, Min, who has been watching Diep, also appears in this scene. He says nothing but may be observing and sensing Diep's care for those around her. As well as her effort in selling pumpkins, Min might be considering Diep or quietly observing the events unfolding, particularly the interactions between Diep and others in the market. This situation creates a complex space for Diep as she tries to maintain her livelihood but faces doubts about CEO James from others. The older man's warning creates a major distraction for Diep. She now has to choose between her feelings for James and this warning, which may make her reconsider her relationship with him. In the meeting between CEO James and lawyer Ha, the atmosphere is formal but also tense. James, as a visionary businessman, is seeking legal support for his company in a challenging lawsuit. From the very beginning, James demonstrates professionalism and caution, showing that he is not only a CEO but also well-versed in the law. James's worry and determination are evident in every word he speaks. He knows that his company is in danger as the hydroelectric project has been impacted by John's calculated decisions. When James says he violated these terms and suddenly pulled out his capital, urging other investors to do the same, which has put our company in a very difficult situation, we can feel his frustration and concern. This is not just a business battle but a fight to protect the company's honor and survival. However, lawyer Ha remains cautious, calm, and principled. From the start, he maintains a neutral attitude, not hastily making any promises. When James offers to send $50 million up front as a sign of trust, Ha's response is firm. "I am a person of integrity. I won't accept anything before I've done the work." This statement reinforces his integrity and creates an interesting counterpoint to James's strategic proposals. Initially hesitant, Ha's perspective begins to shift when James emphasizes that the project is not just for the company's benefit, but also to help farmers. Ha listens, thinks, and finally agrees to help. When he says, "You are also a very good person who has helped many farmers. I too am a farmer. And I am very grateful for what you've done." His emotions shift from neutral to empathetic and supportive. This situation creates a heavy but hopeful atmosphere. James understands that the lawsuit is not going to be easy. But at least he has found a reliable ally. The conversation ends with an agreement and commitment from lawyer Hogg, opening a new chapter in the upcoming legal battle. However, will the outcome be as expected? Can this lawsuit turn the tide for James's company? Everything is still an unknown. After a long and tiring day of work, Diep returned home and immediately noticed something unusual. The space was much cleaner and tidier than usual. She slowed down her pace, her eyes filled with surprise and curiosity. "Why is the house so clean today?" she wondered aloud, her tone a mixture of joy and slight confusion. Then her gaze fell upon a beautiful bouquet of fresh flowers and a neatly wrapped gift box on the table. Her surprise turned into happiness as she gently touched the flower petals, a small smile forming on her lips. Diep could feel the genuine care from the person who had prepared the gift. At that moment, Min appeared. He had been following Diep from the market to her house. Witnessing her joy as she received the gift, Min entered, trying to keep his voice calm. "Hello, Diep." Diep was startled but quickly smiled. "Hello, Min. Please, have a seat." Min glanced around the house, his eyes landing on the flowers and the gift box on the table. His voice lowered as he tried to appear nonchalant. "I happened to see you selling goods outside, so I followed you here." But upon seeing the gift, Min couldn't hide his curiosity. "Oh, what's this?" Diep responded, a little shy but proud. "This is a gift I received." Min furrowed his brow, his gaze mixed with confusion and jealousy. "So, do you like flowers? I could give you a bigger bouquet." His words seemed more like a challenge than a genuine offer. But Diep, with her tact, gently declined. "Oh, no need. We've just met, so I'm not comfortable accepting such expensive gifts." Min paused for a moment, then asked directly, "So, who gave you the gift?" Diep hesitated but answered honestly, A friend gave it to me." Min tilted his head, his voice sharper now. "Your boyfriend?" That question felt like a sharp blow to Min's heart. When Diep nodded in affirmation, Min realized his feelings were beginning to change. He tried to remain composed but couldn't hide his discomfort. "So, what does your boyfriend do?" "Oh, he's also a businessman." In that moment, Min thought about his own position. He too had a large company, but he had always tried to avoid taking charge of it. Min silently looked at Diep, then suddenly stood up. "Actually, I have a large company back home too. But, I don't like doing business. I prefer following my passion for singing." Diep smiled, not too concerned about this detail. But her nonchalant answer made Min feel like he was losing the competition with James. Not wanting to prolong the conversation, Min quickly found an excuse to leave. "Well, I'll take my leave now." Diep was a bit surprised. "Aren't you staying?" "Oh, I have some things to do." She nodded politely, seeing him out the door. "Well, goodbye then." However, as soon as Min left Diep's house, he pulled out his phone and made an important call. His voice was more determined than ever. "Hello, it's me. I've decided to take over the company." The voice on the other end was surprised. "You're not following your passion for singing anymore?" Min smiled cryptically, his gaze turning towards Diep's house. "I have a new passion now." "What's your new passion?" "I want to take over the company, to win over a girl. Her name is Diep." And so, an important decision was made. Min officially entered into a competition. Not just in business, but also in love. Will Diep choose him, or will she choose CEO James? The strong, determined man who always cares for her. Everything is still an unknown. At CEO James's company, the atmosphere was more tense than ever. The workers gathered in large numbers, their voices filled with anger and frustration. They were not only upset about the delayed salaries but also worried about the sudden halt in the hydropower project, which had cut off the water supply for irrigation. Their complaints and anxieties were clear. Why did the project stop? How are we supposed to irrigate our fields now? We work the land, and now we'll have nothing to harvest this year. Their emotions grew more desperate, the fear of hunger and uncertainty for the future pushing them to the brink. The anger spread quickly, turning into a collective determination to confront CEO James and demand their rights. In the midst of all this, James could no longer avoid the situation. Standing before dozens of expectant and angry eyes, he knew he had to give an answer. One worker stepped forward, their voice full of frustration. "Our salaries have been delayed for 3 months. And now the project has stopped suddenly. Why is that?" The pressure weighed heavily on James's shoulders. He was aware that the company was facing a severe financial crisis. But looking at the worn faces of the workers, he could not deny that his decision had deeply affected their lives. Inside, James struggled between reason and responsibility. He wasn't just a businessman, he was the leader of a team where every paycheck had the power to change the lives of these people. And in this moment, he was forced to face the truth. Could he turn things around? Fix the immediate problems, or would he lose the trust of those who had placed their livelihoods in his hands? Quote, "The situation is incredibly tense right now. The workers are facing the risk of losing their jobs and access to water. While CEO James is caught in a difficult dilemma. How will he solve this problem? Will there be a fair negotiation? Or will the workers' anger escalate into a bigger conflict? What do you think about this situation? If you were James, what decision would you make? Leave your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay tuned for the next developments. Thanks for watching." Quote,